Hey guys, happy Thursday night. Happy to have you here with me with the Lumberjack Landlord. It's been a week, guys. It's been a week. There's been so much going on this week. It's been kind of crazy. We're trying to announce the boot camp going, but we've had some technical issues with the platform. We are going to fix that. I promise you this. So I'm hoping that we're fixed up tomorrow and then we can put a poll out there so we can get going on these boot camps already. Like, let's go, everybody. Yeah, absolutely amazing week. Honestly, I'm so thankful I don't have another job right now. Holy Toledo. It's just been absolutely crazy, but I've added to the element of that crazy because I put myself on the road a few times, going out and doing some events. So that's been a lot of fun. But wanted to talk to you tonight about a really serious issue. Part of my YouTuber series that I'm doing, where I'm just working with a bunch of other YouTubers and doing a lot of collaboration. Part of that series was talking to a real estate educator. She's absolutely phenomenal. If you're a real estate agent, you should absolutely follow her. And you'll see in the video when it gets released in the next couple of weeks, you'll see that soon enough. So one of the things that I would tell you is she's absolutely spectacular. She's absolutely brilliant. She's been a real estate agent for 20 years. She got so good at teaching people how to, how to be real estate agents that now she only coaches. So good for her. But what I want to warn real estate agents about, and I think what a lot of real estate agents are missing, and they need to hear it. And I guess I'm the guy to say it because I'm a jerk and I don't really care what you think about me. Here's what I can tell you. Oh, Jay, hold on one second. Jay, thank you for letting me know. Hold on one second. Let's see here. It's probably part of the technical difficulties that we've been having, in all honesty. But let me just double check and see if that portion was fixed. It was a multi-layered issue, if you will. But Jay, thank you for letting me know. What's it under, Jay? Is it under your name? Because when I look in the lineup, I don't see your name. So is it in your name? I know we completely derailed the show. This is how much I suck at this, right? See if this works. I've already approved it. Yep. Okay. I've already approved it. When I refreshed, you were there. Let me know if that worked, my dude. This is one of the things that we're online with these guys about, is trying to fix this, because it used to be 100% automated and now it's not automated anymore. So Jay, let me know if you have access. And if you don't, let me know what you personal service touch clinic for businesses everywhere. Yeah. Hey man, I get it. Like, the reason that you got my course was because you think I can help you. I can help you. I know that I can. It's in there. But Jay, I just want to make sure, literally, I just want to make sure you're good. It's, sadly we rely on technology to help us out. And quite frankly, do a job for us. But it's just not been, they did some sort of an upgrade and it's just been a bit of a challenge since. It's a good product. Yeah, Jay, absolutely. You're on the list. Yep. We've been working through problems because we have to get all the messaging to everybody at the same time, so everyone has an equal chance to give input on all the pieces. Yeah, yep, you're absolutely still in there. We haven't released. What we're trying to do is we're trying to release the poll to make sure that everyone's on the same page with dates and times and all that stuff. Jay, you're very welcome. I appreciate you saying something. You guys see how transparent I am? Like, hey, if we have a problem with somebody getting approved, whatever, like, just let me know. It's sadly, it's one of those challenges that we've had since they took a pretty big upgrade. It's just all of the connectivity that we had set up where it would let you guys know and give you automatic updates and give you instant access. Once you pay, you're supposed to get instant access. Now I'm having to go in and approve it manually. you have instant access. As soon as you pay, you have instant access. So sorry that that's happening, but I appreciate your, yeah, that's exactly, yes, Farinelli, that's exactly right. So you'll see a message. We're working through the tech issues with them. You'll see a message sometime. It was supposed to be this week. You're supposed to see a message, but basically it's going to send out a poll. Everybody that's signed up for the boot camp is invited. If for some reason the dates and times that we picked to do the boot camp don't work this time around, you absolutely have access to the next boot camp. It's not a like use it and lose it type of thing. We don't play that game because I know that stuff makes me angry, and so I can only assume it makes you guys angry too. So, but I appreciate you guys taking the time. Good. Now that we've got that kind of covered, let's jump into it. So the urgent thing that real estate agents need to hear, see how bad I am at YouTubing, but the urgent thing that that real estate agents need to hear is there's a reason why investors hate 90% of them. There's a reason. And very often the real estate agent doesn't understand, like they're taught, right? They're taught to cold call, and they're taught to network, and they're taught to go to these stupid, BDIs, business development initiatives and all this other stupid stuff. I can honestly tell you that you will never, ever find the amount of customers that you can find doing that stupid stuff. So I actually went and I watched a ton of different hosts on how they build their brand and how they get out there. And I found an absolutely spectacular teacher. Spent some time with her, just kind of interviewing her honestly to see if I wanted to do a collaboration with her. She was absolutely fantastic, absolutely wonderful. And so she can without a doubt, she's going to help a ton. Dear heavens, I just have to get this thing silenced. Sorry, guys. What the heck? So, see what I mean? It's just nonstop. Give me 1 second here. Here we go. All right, silenced. Cool. So beady eyes. I thought no, not beady eyes, BD eyes. So the thing that these real estate agents need to learn, and the things that we need to do as investors, right? And this is what we should be looking for, is you need to find an agent that actually knows what they're talking about. And that doesn't mean taking sales courses. That's not what you need to have. Every agent needs to know more than the investor that they're trying to work for. That's the point, dummies. That's the point. And it's not real estate dummies. It's world dummies. So many people get into a given craft and they work and they work and they work and they work and they work, but they're always doing these things that are ancillary and outside of doing their actual core competency. So I'm an amazing investor. I can help agents. Absolutely. But I have an expectation of my agents. When an agent cold calls me and they have nothing to offer me other than cold calling me, I have no interest in talking to you. Every single investor has a team. Every big investor certainly has a team. So what value can you bring to me as a real estate agent? Only one thing, just one. And that one thing is you bring me a deal. You bring me a deal. Now, you can always ask up front, hey, if I were able to bring you an opportunity, is that something that you would use me for the transaction? And if that person says no, then you can say, I really appreciate your honesty. That's it. What is it that you're looking for? And still understand what they're looking for and what they're trying to buy. However, if I'm that agent, I'm probably not giving that deal to that investor. That being said, I'm calling other investors. Now, how do you find other investors? Here's how you find other investors. Look up on the tax rolls and see what LLCs continue to, happen, or see the names, right? Or see, and if you can't see the LLCs, look up where their mailing addresses are. There's a bunch of different ways that you can get to the owners in a given town or city. One mistake that people make is they're sitting out there and they're saying, oh, geez, I need 100 leads a week. No, you don't. You need one good one, just one good one. So if you can create that one good one, that's better than a million cold calls. Create an opportunity and then target the investors that invest in that type of an asset. In all of the court filings, right? In all of the state filings, our name is on all of the properties that we own. You can very easily put together. Now, this is working smarter, not harder. It's still hard work, but this is the smarter way of doing it. You can see the type of assets that we buy. Almost every property that you're going to look up is going to be a duplex, triplex, or quadplex. Almost everyone that you look up is going to be in one of 3 towns. It's not hard research. And so if you find something that's in those towns that fits that profile, I'm a great call for you. When you have that first call with me and you say, hey, so I actually have an opportunity. I kid you not, this is how somebody got a deal from me. Hey, I found a property. I'm not sure if you're interested in on it or not, but I'd like to present it to you. Is that something, if I were able to present it to you, would you use me to do the transaction? I think that's a fair question. And my answer was, yeah, I dance with the one who brung me. If you find me the deal and you find a deal and I end up doing something on it, I'm absolutely open to doing it. Now, don't send me all the stupid paperwork about how you're my exclusive agent for the next 6 months. Literally, you can write in the paperwork, you're my exclusive agent for that deal. And I'm even going to cap you at 6 months, because if some reason we don't put a deal together, but 2 years later that deal comes up, well, then it's fair game. You didn't do anything. You didn't do your job. You didn't get it closed. But I want to give you the opportunity to earn my business. Now, this is a deal that I would love to get. Now, that being said, if you have the opportunity to create deals, that's where the money lies. Creating deals. When you're waiting for the phone to ring, you're like every other piker on the block. You don't matter. It doesn't matter. You're not going to be a good agent when you're waiting for the phone to ring. You have to be working and hustling and creating deals. And that comes a number of different ways. It really does come a number of different ways. There's all sorts of different ideas and courses on how to find and how to create deals. I don't think every single, real estate agent should try to wholesale. I don't think every real estate investor should try and wholesale. We've got some pretty cool videos coming up on that stuff soon too. But when you create that opportunity as a real estate agent, one is you find an investor who invests in like stuff, like kind items. That's important. The other thing too is you try and also find investors that aren't massive. A 300-400 unit, investor might not be honorable. They might not do the deal with you, but somebody of my size or smaller, yeah, they're starving. They're still looking for deals. They're still trying to create deals. So if you can bring me a good solid deal, that good solid deal that was brought to me, guess what? The wholesaler didn't pay out that rep. They didn't pay out that rep. So I did the right thing. I paid her out thousands of dollars, thousands that I wasn't obligated to, but I paid her out thousands of dollars because she earned it. She earned it. She found me a deal. Now she's working on another one. She's like, it's not ready yet, but I think I'll be able to present something else to you. Now she's not going to get rich off of doing this, but it helps her create transactions. And it also helps because my broker is way too busy with investors. He doesn't need more investors. If I had a new investor in this area, I would absolutely tell them, hey, listen, check her out. She did a great job for me. She found a great opportunity for me. Any agent can comb through the MLS. Like, that's not hard. That's not hard. That's just silly. That's just not hard. So what I would tell agents is, number one, create value. Create your value. That's 100% up on you. Create your value. Number two, you're going to watch the video in the next couple of weeks. You will see it. It will blow your mind of how you can brand yourself and do little things in your market to set yourself above and beyond everybody else. And then the third thing is your easiest customer by far is an investor. Your easiest customer by far is an investor. Why? Because very often when somebody buys a home, they are likely going to be there for 7 to 10 years. They're going to be in that home if they're not an investor. That means you might start to see cycles every 7 years. And that's how real estate agents that have been in it for 20 and 25 years, it's like, oh, everybody knows them and they do a ton of business. That's how they say it. That's how it's done. So what you need to do is A, get yourself in that cycle. but B, and most importantly, add value. Now, the question is, how do you add value? Well, when you're working with new investors, you can know more than they can know very quickly. And the reason that you can have that conversation is real estate is a service business. Make yourself available to them, but also as you're reviewing different properties, do you know what a good deal is? Do you know what a good return on capital is? Can you have the conversation talking to the investors about what their goals are? Do you know what they're actually looking for? Do they already have a strategy? These are all things that I never hear agents ask investors. It's really quite pathetic. It really is. And the problem is the investors don't know. They're newer. They have no idea how to articulate those things. Or a lot of times they're worried and they want to keep it close to the vest. So agents, do yourself a favor. Most importantly, create value by getting a deal and then contacting investors on that deal to see if you can get an investor to buy it. But know your numbers. Really understand what the return on capital is going to be. Really understand what investment might need to be made. Over time, you'll start to create relationship with contractors and title companies and closing companies, and that will be a huge service to you. But remember, how do you set yourself apart from the other 95% of the noise that is real estate brokers and agents? How do you separate yourself? It's not by going to another real estate course. It's not by going to another real estate weekend. Learn skills that A, you can use yourself, but B, that your clients can use. They get to use your knowledge. I've worked with so many agents, and this last agent that I worked with, she was just a total tool bag. And quite frankly, had I not really wanted the property, she says to me, she's just like, yeah, I just need your offer. You just need my offer? Just give me the offer. I stayed dead silent until she said hello. That's my awkward pause. Hello? Yeah, I'm still here. And I was quiet. And I gave her my number. And frankly, just to be honest, I took $10,000 off the number. I did. Because I was pissed. I took $10,000 off the number. I knew she still had to present it. So let me know if you want us to write it up and we'll present it. It was unbelievable. Now I ended up getting the deal. I ended up getting the deal for $10,000 less than what I thought I was going to have to pay. And thankfully I did. And there were some tough moments there, but that agent really didn't add any value. That agent got paid a lot of money. She put in her contract that she got 6%. My guy got 2%. Don't do that stuff. I can tell you, don't do that stuff. That is a relationship killer. So what I would tell you again, agents, find a deal and then find the type of investor that invests in that type of an asset before you even put it on the market. Find them. That way they feel like you're bringing them something exclusive. Worst case is they say no and you put it on market. Best case is you say, hey, listen, we haven't gone to market yet. We believe that this is where this asset is going to be priced. Use words like that and they'll take you more seriously. And then when they do the research, they can come back and go, yeah, I'll pay you whatever, $420 and you're asking for $450. You can say, you know what, at this time, they're not going to take 30 grand less than what they thought. They really want to go to market with it at that number. So we'd love to do something with you, but recognize that having not gone to market, they're not going to be satisfied if I don't take it to market. If you can get to list price, or really at least in the ballpark of list price, it's probably something I can get them to listen to. That puts me as a investor in the position to really make the call. No, that's fine. Let it go to market. Cool. Or no, you know what? Fine. It's a little bit more than what I want to pay, but the fact that I can block out all my competition, not get into a bidding war of some sort. Yeah, let's do it. Let's just do that deal. Because honestly, the difference of $20,000 on almost $500,000 investment, it's not that big of a difference. It just isn't. That's not where you make your money. And so that's what's really interesting about this business. Second thing is make sure you understand the branding. Like I said, I'm bringing somebody on that is actually a master. gives a masterclass in how to brand yourself and how to do the work as a real estate agent, getting away from all the industry norms, doing all the things that you should be doing and ignoring all the things you shouldn't be doing that everyone else gets taught. And that's how you rise to that level. And then the third thing is invest in yourself. Spend money investing in yourself. Spend money not going to real estate courses, going to real estate investment stuff. You take my course, it's $2,000 for the regular course in the boot camp. You don't think that you're smarter than 90% of the other agents out there when you take my course? You absolutely are. Watch it over and over and over again. There's people that have watched it 5, 6, 7 times. They don't get charged extra. I want to bring that value to them. These are the types of opportunities that are there at agents' feet. But again, they want to take shortcuts. They want to do the easy thing. They want to do what their mentor told them to do. Listen, your mentor did not get successful fast unless there was a massive upturn in the market. So learn skills, learn things that your buyers are concerned about, the homeowner, when they read an inspection report. I talked to this one agent and we went through a house, and we'll close with this. We went through the house and she was like, yeah, there's a pretty big list here. And I go, yeah. She goes, yeah, pretty big list. I go, okay. I go, I saw the stuff that he was nitpicking about. It is that. It's nitpicking. It's a 130-year-old house. That stuff is going to be on any house that he looks at unless it's brand new construction. And let's face it, there's a reason you're looking at brand new construction. Mine's 360 or mine's 340 and theirs is 550. You're not looking at those houses because you can't afford them. So you're going to get a house that's not absolutely perfect. Now, that being said, we're certainly happy to take care of any of the big stuff, the roof, heating systems, the big stuff, foundational stuff, electrical issues. She's like, well, there's not really any of that here. I said, exactly. They're getting a good house with good bones. And most importantly, the 5 most expensive things have been taken care of and addressed. The 5 most expensive things in that building, the plumbing was new, the heating system was new, the electrical was new, the roof was new, and everything else had been gone through. And the kitchen was new. I'd removed the 5 most expensive things for them and for any homeowner to do. Now, if you're an agent, you look at that and say, you're coaching your client. Don't try and sell them, but coach them. Give them an understanding. Say, hey, the great news is all the big stuff is done. The foundation's good. The electrical's all new. The plumbing is all new. The kitchen is all new. The roof is all new. Those are the 5 biggest expenses you're going to have, and all of that stuff has been done. You're in a unique position where you can just pick these little things off the list. Maybe you do them, maybe you hire them out, but these are tiny little things, and the core of what's there in the house is what's most valuable. The next thing that I asked her was, I said, so is this typical when you guys go through them? Yeah, he's a really, really thorough inspector. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. He's costing you deals. It's not about pulling the wool over the buyer's eyes. It's not what it's about. What it's really truthfully about is making sure that the buyer recognizes what's important and what's far less important. I don't do any house. I don't sell any house with any of the big things that it's needed, because that drastically reduces the price. When somebody came to me and they tried to negotiate a $20,000 credit because they're like, well, yeah, there's just a bunch of stuff, bunch of little things that we want to do. Nope. And guess what? They were aghast. They were offended that I would tell them no. Guess what? My house, I make the rule. They're like, fine, we're not going to buy. We're going to move on. Bye-bye. Their offer was $360 after all the credits were done. That's on another project. $360 was their offer. We closed 6 weeks later at $392. Now, if I were soft and didn't know what I was doing and didn't have a very good agent, we would have taken the $360, but we didn't, because the $360 was still decent money in profit, probably $75,000 in profit. But instead, we get up to $392. We got over $100,000 in profit. So I would tell you this, agents, get investors in your portfolio. Get investors as part of your roster. If you do that, you will be in the top 10% most successful realtors in your area, for sure. All right. That was fun. Hold on one second. Ooh. I'm actually going to put glasses on. I'm not sure how the light's going to be in these things. Oh, yeah. That light's awful. Sorry. I'll just be a little bit blind. Let's go to the beginning. Let's go to the questions. Jay Molis, how are you? Sarah Vanning, good to see you, sir. HOA Prez, a lot of real estate listings are getting canceled. Yes, sir. Yeah, they're having to they're taking them off the market. Josic, good to see you, sir. All-nighter hider. You as well. Jay, I'm glad we were able to fix that for you. BuzzTune Mikey, good to see you. Must feel good not to be in Philly. Josic, you have no idea. I hate Philly, man. I hate Philly. It's mostly because I hate their teams there. Is honestly why it is. I'm a Boston guy. I mean, I guess I should be thankful. I guess I should be thankful for Philly teams. It's helped us win more championships. All-nighter hider. Smoke that like button like Cheech and Chong. Thank you, my friend. Jason Calasabetta, good to see you, sir. HOA Prez. We have too many real estate agents in Silicon Valley chasing few two listings. Yes. The issue is that they're chasing and that they're not very good and they're not very talented. That's really the issue. Real agents, good agents make good money in any type of market. It's just about having your network, who you're selling to, the type of asset you're looking for. Most investors are always looking to buy something. They're almost always looking to buy something. It's just unbelievable to me that agents can't figure this out. Let's see. All-nighter hider. That is Personal Service Touch and a clinic for businesses everywhere. Thank you, sir. It works now. Am I still able to be in the boot camp? Yes, sir. You are absolutely have an opportunity in the next boot camp. Now, you guys will hear everybody that's signed up will actually get the announcement, and then you guys can qualify whether or not you want to take this one or maybe a future one because the timing doesn't work. It's entirely up to you. Jay, you're very welcome. Hello, Robert Farinelli. Hello, Christopher Ramsey. Laura, good to see you. HOA Prez. I told one real estate agent that it's not the number of listings that you have, but the number of sales that you make. That's exactly right, HOA Prez. Exactly right. It is what you sell. The key is that do you have a network where you can bring those assets to? If you're just putting things on the market, then you're going to learn something totally new about this market. And this market means you could be on for 30, 60, 90, 120 days. You could then eventually get pulled after you spend the money to promote it and advertise it and do open houses, all of that stuff. If you're talking about and working with an agent that actually understands investing, here's my buy box. This is what I'm looking for. These are the things that I'd be willing to consider. What do you have that's available now? Set up the searches for me. That would be great. But also, can you reach out to some other agents that you know sell multifamily? That's an opportunity for them, right? Hey, there's probably 24 agents in our area that do a lot of multifamilies. Probably 24. You don't think my agent will actually pick up the phone and call them? I know probably a dozen of them. The other dozen I don't really know well. But the dozen that I know pretty well, I'm on the phone with them at least once a month. So when something's coming, guess who gets a preview? I don't mean to block out my agent, but that's me working for me. I'm trying to build my portfolio. I'm trying to get a great deal. And so I'm happy to get a great deal. Dion, every time you hit the like button, an angel gets its wings, and Matt writes a page for his book. I'm not going to write it. I have not had any time. I'm not writing for my book right now. That said, Dion, the fabulous, will be out at Bigger Pockets, BPCon, on a panel as well as a keynote address. Very excited to see that. Very excited. Wealth of Rentals. Hi, Matt. Hi, Wealth of Rentals. HOA Prez, 90+% of real estate agents are totally clueless about real estate investing. Completely agree. And here's the thing. I can completely change. If you're in your first 5 years of real estate, being a real estate agent, I can completely change your stars and guarantee you'll become a millionaire. I guarantee you'll be a millionaire. If you follow the things I tell you to do, I will guarantee you that you will be a millionaire. It's guaranteed. You do all the things I say, you will be a millionaire. Guaranteed. It's not there. There's an absolute guarantee there. I know, I've done it. It takes time, but there's an absolute guarantee. And real estate agents have a distinct advantage over everybody else. Christopher Ramsey, how did y'all feel before your first heavy flip? Christopher, give me more detail than that. First heavy flip. What's a heavy flip? Financial firefighter. Hey, Mark, good to see you, buddy. All nighter hider. I attended a city council meeting and met a councilwoman I had been texting with. She introduced me to police chief who remembers the program. I also got my first project at that meeting. That's awesome. The 501(c) is off and running. Congratulations, Hyder. That's fantastic news. HOA Press. I failed at being a lazy bum, so I decided to become a real estate agent. I think, yeah, I mean, I'm hard on real estate agents, honestly. And it's because some of them are that, like, oh, I'm going to get my real estate license because there's big pots of gold at the end of the rainbow. Dude, that job sucks. For 5 years, you can pretty much plan on making not very much money. So I would recommend having a job and then becoming an agent at the same time and trying to do both. And really, until that real estate business kicks up, I would be sticking with your other job. Do 2 things at once. It's been done in the past. I do 3 things all the time for work. Wealth of Rentals. What would you do if a mother is applying with her son, but the son has heart failure and she take care of him and works from home? They are both above 18 though. Would you only take an application, credit, and income from the mom in this scenario? No, in all likelihood. No, anybody that's 18 and over, I'd want them on the lease. Number 1. Number 2 is he very well still might have a benefit. He still might have Social Security. He might have disability. He might have, there's all sorts of things like food stamps or EBT or insurance that actually pays his mom to be the caregiver. Absolutely. Anybody that's over 18, regardless of their status, is on the lease, period, end of story. Yep. Pallavi. Hey, Pallavi. Good to see you. HOA Press. I couldn't qualify to rent an apartment with a 380 credit score, so I decided to work with a real estate agent to buy a house. Yeah. The funny thing is now that's not really happening, right? Now that's not really happening. It was happening. HOA Press is right. That sort of stuff was happening back with the liar loans back in 06 and 07 and 08. Hasn't been happening anymore, which is good. What if the potential tenant tells you that they want to move in because they have rats in their current apartment and landlord is not doing anything and they want to break the lease? Would you accept them specifically with breaking the lease concern? I would want to see some sort of back and forth with them and the landlord. I would want to see that rat issue is actually true. Yeah. Trust but verify. Buyers are liars. And in this case, tenant's a buyer. So I've had that conversation. I literally had one woman text me and we were talking back and forth. We decided to let her move in. She did have a rat problem at her existing place. Then she says, get this. She goes, well, you didn't tell me I was renting in a crack house. Come on. Get real, lady. Get real. She's like, well, the guy upstairs is just really busy. Okay. And go up to your neighbor. And I hate it when people ask me to take care of like talking to them. No. You go they're your neighbor. They're not me. They're not breaking any rules. Just because you go to bed at 8:30 and he goes to bed at 10 doesn't mean he's a drug dealer. Dear God. Unbelievable. Let's see. Would you, yeah, so I would just get all of the information. I would want to see, you would say, yeah, I can appreciate that you have a rat problem. What have you done to remedy it? Could you send me some of that correspondence? I just want to see how, what they're doing for you. If she can't provide anything, they're full of shit. They're lying. Liz, hey Matt, what are some courses you recommend to create deals? I think my course is fantastic at creating deals, honestly, Liz. I don't know if you've taken the course or not, but there's a bunch of data and information in there on how to work with agents, how to work with inspectors. And the reason why that helps you create deals is I've had inspectors bring me deals, legit. And it's really the big piece in there about networking too, and how you network. I give a ton of ideas in there about how you can create and do networking that will actually get you opportunities. I know that I'm at least 3 or 4 different investors' retirement plans. No joke. Hyder. HOA. That's a layup, Liz. Link coming. Thanks, buddy. HOA Prez. Real estate agents need to learn about unqualified prospects as fast as they can. Talk is cheap. Yeah, I think that they need to learn about unqualified prospects, but I think that very easily, if they can, I think that there's a difference between unqualified and new. The reason I say that is because there's plenty of people that want to invest in real estate that have no resources. They have no money. There's no magic pill. Nothing's going to happen for them. They are purely shopping in delusion. However, there are a number of investors that have not bought their first place yet that have a bank lined up. They've gotten pre-approved. They have a deposit. They have a down payment. There's a lot of investors that fit that, but I think in going through let's say they go through a course like mine. In going through a course like mine, they understand here's selection criteria. Here's how to understand if it rents well enough. Here's an understanding of what the rents are. Here's an understanding of how to calculate mortgage. Then I can then see what the return on that capital is. And as you're training those people, here's the thing. If they find that they're not ready now, but you were the one that spent that time with them, you were the one that took them through that, and then you just do gentle follow-up, you're in a unique position to win their business. And everybody needs to always be building a funnel. Take it from an elite sales guy. There's a reason I never missed my number. It's because I always had a massive funnel. Now, I always had enough that came down through the bottom of the funnel. That means prospects at the top and then deals closing at the bottom. Usually it's a 3-to-1, 5-to-1 rule as far as the number of prospects you need to put in the top to then get out the bottom and actually do a deal with. The cool thing for me is I always had enough to get to my number. The only question was I going to absolutely blow my number out? I set a record for every company I was ever with the number of sales I did. 541% was my best year. 541% of my quota. You can only imagine how much money I made that year. But again, I say that because it's about the funnel. The more people you keep on spending that time with and investing in them, talking with them about what their goals are, talking with them with what they're trying to attain, and then just gentle follow-up. But then when you have 3 or 4 investors like that, what do? You go out and you start trying to target that type of an investment that they're looking for. And then when you find one, guess what? You've got 3 or 4 people you can put it in front of right away. 3 or 4 people you can put it in front of right away. That's how you create that. And that's how you start to create momentum. And then after that sale, and then the subsequent sale, and then the subsequent sale, that's how you start to create that momentum, not only for yourself in the market, but also for those investors. Because are investors one and done? No, that's not the point. That's not the point. Let's see. Robert Fairley, what does the building inspector want to see when adding a unit? Everything. Room dims, all the locations and dims of everything in bath and kitchen, shower, stove, sink, shelves, etc. Doing a mock-up in MS Point that I will send to Dan's Plans. You don't need to be that precise, dude. Honestly, don't be that precise. Literally get a piece of paper, show the measurements, and then take a picture of it and send that to him. That's what I do. It's super easy. You don't have to spend all the time in MS Point. You just don't. You don't. I'm very, very simple. We actually found a software that we use now that gives us kind of a rough sketch of things, and it's done through LiDAR. We can do kind of any one of our units in about 30, 40 minutes. We just take that, we send that off to them with accurate measurement, and then they make a real official plan, and then we can start making plans about that of where stuff needs to go. So yeah, that's what I would do. I would definitely take it down a notch. I would be far more analog about it. Get them something, and then they'll make it digital for you. HOA Press. Poor real estate agent talks the talk but can't walk the walk. Good real estate agent talks the talk and walks the walk. I agree. I think the challenge again with real estate agents is that they don't know the education that they need. You should not be going to more like just do more and just do it harder and just do work even harder. No, that's not how it works, guys. Work smarter, not harder. Investors are an underserved part of the real estate community. They build teams. Imagine, if you will, that over the course of the first 2 years of your real estate career, you do 5 deals with investors. 5. That's it. Just 5 in 2 years. What do you think the next 2 years holds? Do you think that it only holds 5? No, you're going to find that 1 or 2 people will do nothing. 1 or 2 people will buy an additional unit or additional building or 2. And then you usually find one guy in that group that's like, yep, I get it now. Cool. And they buy 2 that next year. And then they buy 3 that next year. My agent, when he started with me, guess how many deals I was doing? I had a bigger portfolio, but I was adding deals. When he first started being my agent, I only had 40 units, 40 or 50. Now I've got 150. Guess who was along for that ride for those 150? He didn't sell them all to me, but he probably sold 70 of those out of those 100 to me. He didn't get all of them, but it's because I was working the phones. I was networking. I was talking to other investors. I was doing all of these things that I lay out in my course. Here's the things to do to create more opportunity. And yeah, you can do it off of MLS, but if I did it off of MLS, that would vastly and drastically slow my growth. And I didn't want to slow my growth. The Riley A-OK. Hey, Riley, good to see you. Glad I caught alive. Thank you again for doing these. Appreciate your time and love listening. I'm glad you're able to make it. Thanks so much. Howdy from Reno, Nevada. Good to see you guys. HOA Prez, I failed as a real estate agent, so I decided to teach one to become a real estate agent. That sounds about right. And very often, in many cases, that happens. Hey, Wealth Building Journey. What's going on, Chester? Good to see you. We have 2 types of liars, politicians and real estate agents. These are their stories. I can honestly tell you, what's funny is I think there are plenty of, I find very often that the real estate agent, they will stretch the truth. They won't tell the whole truth. Very often it's from a place of ignorance and they don't know and they have no clue what they're talking about. Very often that's what it is. But they can get over that. Like imagine sitting down with a real estate agent and they say, so talk to me about your buy box, right? What areas do you want to be in? Is there a specific configuration that you like to buy? Yeah. Are duplexes, triplexes, and quads, are those all on the table? Are they off the table? Are you looking for class A, B, C, or D? How does that fit your strategy? What are your goals over the next 5 years? Are you hoping to just to get the first one? Like, hey, let's get the first one on your. Imagine having that conversation. That's why I know I could be a real estate agent tomorrow and be elite. I know exactly what the investor's looking for. I just don't want to deal with new investors trying on the buy side, because even when you try and have that conversation with them and say, guys, these 5 things are important. These 47 things on the list are not important. They're going to cite them because they don't want to get cited in the fact I didn't share that. Ugh, whatever. 2 times as slow. Yeah, I know, right? HOA price good agents find a deal. Poor agents search for a deal that doesn't exist. Yeah, I think poor agents are the ones waiting for the phone to ring. It will ring, but then you're getting lucky. The best and most elite salespeople create their opportunities. This amazing agent teacher that I have on that's going to be doing the presentation and the time that we spent together. She built a massive team over all the leads she was able to create, and then she literally just got to the point where she's just like, "I'm good. I really enjoy the coaching piece. I'm ready to walk away from that other piece." Guys, that's the position any agent would want to be in the next few years. The Riley A-OK, when listing your rental properties, how long do you let it sit before lowering it, assuming you're around market rents in your area? The Riley A-OK, that is a great question. I have kind of a system that I use. It's in the course that we talk about. It takes about 45 minutes to explain, but I will tell you this. I'm always looking at my competition, always trying to understand what they're doing and what they're trying to accomplish. And as far as reductions go, I try and take the reductions away from rent. So I don't really do those specials, but very often what I'll do is I'll say, $500 deposit for move-in. That's instantly going to get people's attention because whether it's rent or deposit, they're still going to have to pay it. So if they don't have to pay $2,000 deposit, they only have to pay $500, they're much more qualified in their eyes to then rent the unit. If they have good credit, sometimes people are going through a cash pinch. Sometimes people just suck with money and they're never going to have money. It's an option too. But I would start playing with other things before I play with your rent. If your market rents, then there's something else wrong with your property. And you need to rent box it and figure out why people like other stuff more and other stuff is renting and yours isn't. Flavio, good evening, sir. Christopher Ramsey, adding 1,200 square feet, master suite, bedroom, powder room, expand kitchen into sunroom. We don't do those. So Christopher, let me just roll up real quick. Christopher, how'd y'all feel before your first heavy flip? I don't do heavy flips like that. Now I know what you meant by heavy. I don't do heavy flips like that. I don't. And the reason why is because they are so capitally intensive. They take a really long time. And very often in the time that you'll do, and I'm not trying to discourage you, I'm just saying for me, in the time it was going to take me to do that large of a project, I could do 3 others that were a fraction the size that were going to then end up adding in a lot more money. But you dance with the one who brung you. You take the deals that you can get, you take the deals that you can create and then create revenue on. I'm not saying to not do that, but the way that I always looked at it was I was much better off taking a property and doing a gut rehab and gutting something that was a D, but in a nicer neighborhood. I was far better off doing that than I was trying to make this house grand. The thing you want to be careful of that I would caution you with or caution you on is not overbuilding the neighborhood. How does that then fit in with the rest of the neighborhood? Did you just build the nicest house in the neighborhood? You never want to be that. Is what you're doing there, does it take a smaller house and turn it into a bigger house that then fits in better in the neighborhood? That's okay, because then you have something that's about the same square footage as everything else there. There are neighborhoods that I've seen that every single house that was in there was 1,000 square foot house. 20 years later, 60% of them people added on additions to, and they were all 1,800 square feet. So then if that's the case, then you can do that same exact thing. And then that's actually more of a comp than the older, smaller house that might be on the same street that's 1,000 square feet. But I'm always looking for what that return on capital is going to be. And the challenging thing with that construction piece is it can go sideways. It can get sideways really fast with a lot of money leaving the pocket. And then when you're done, the biggest issue I had was you're 6 to 9 months away from being done. You have no idea what the market's going to be at that time. Are rates going to be higher? Are they going to be consistently higher? Are they going to be lower? Our jobs going to be at 5? Our job, unemployment rate going to be at 5.5%. So kudos to you. I just never wanted to do projects that had that big long tail until I had a lot of property that could then help financially support all that stuff. Hopefully that helped you. Liz, when you say follow what you say and you'll become a millionaire realtor, do you mean your course? Because sign me up. I want to increase my commissions to invest more in real estate. Liz, yes, absolutely. Because what you need to do, Liz, and what every agent needs to do, you sit in a room of 10 agents. I can promise you 6 of them will never be anything. They're never going to be anything. Number 7 might eke out a living. Number 8 will do okay. They'll do pretty well. Agent number 9, they're going to do pretty well. They're going to do pretty well. They're going to make, 50% more than the median income in the area. They'll do pretty well. And then there's one guy in 10 that becomes really good. Really, really good. Like my guy, 99 transactions in a year with 1 assistant. That's legit. That's legit. Now, Liz, when you take the course, the idea is you're learning all of those things so you can add value to investors. That's the idea. You want to add value to the investors because new investors, they don't know. Here's the thing. Let's say I'm a cold call on your list. You created an opportunity and you have a deal for me and you present the deal. And I go, Liz, where the hell do I make money on this deal? And you're like, well, it's just a really good deal. It's below what the other comps have sold for. Nope. I block your number, in all honesty. I don't listen to you again. Because if you can't even underwrite a deal and know what a deal's value is, I don't want to take your call ever again. You wasted my time. So even if agents just from this learn what investors are looking for, hey, this is what your return is. Hey, this one went on the market for 450 grand. It's not a deal at 450, but you get above 10% return if we can get this thing down to 420. And if you have decent credit and you're actually buying with a decent credit score, and you can get, 6.25 rates instead of 6.375 rates. You need to be able to talk the deal. You need to be able to talk the deal to the investor. Otherwise, you're throwing it against the wall and seeing if it sticks. Hey, I'm bringing you an opportunity. Awesome. Is it a good deal? I don't know. Well, what made you bring it to me? Well, you invest another 3 ones. Uh-huh. Yep. So what's this one get for rent? I don't know. What do you think you could rent for? I don't know. How much updating does it need? I don't know. On a double yellow line? Let me check. See? When you have the opportunity to talk to somebody on the phone that's worth millions of dollars and has made millions of dollars, you better, when you get them on the phone, you better have something good to say. You better have a reason for me to want to talk to you again. And if you have a deal, but you couldn't even underwrite the deal yourself, why are we talking? What's the conversation that we're having? You can have the opportunity to get to be a part of, like I said, my thing, right? Something big. But more importantly, you can find those newer investors, and we talk about all of that stuff. You'll hear, we've seen real estate agents take the course and they hear what all of the other investors in the course are talking about. You should be investing in real estate, Liz. If you're a real estate agent, you should be investing in real estate. You need to know these things, but then you can take the lessons that you learn. Now you have much more credibility when you're talking to a prospect and they call up and they're like, yeah, so I saw you sold blah, blah, blah. Yes, we did. Yep. Are you an investor? Yeah. Oh yeah, we're investors. Awesome. So tell me about that. And then when they start talking to you about things, right? Telling ain't selling. So asking questions and then creating alignment. Again, elite sales guy. So you're trying to create alignment. Now that elite alignment, right? That alignment comes from not being fake. It comes from genuinely understanding what their goals are and then asking for verification. Is this the approach that we've typically taken in the past? Is that an approach that you'd like to take as well? Yes, it is. They're going to feel listened to. They're going to feel like you're part of the team and like they're part of that team. They're going to feel like you add value that they previously weren't having added by the other balloon knot agents that are out there that are just trying to sell something. Oh yeah, well, it's going to go quick. How do you know? I mean, I walk through and I let agents talk, and I just, like, a couple times I've had to stop them, but most of the time I just let them talk. Oh yeah, that's a blah, blah, blah. And that's a really efficient system. Really efficient. Really, it's really efficient. I know how to calculate efficiency in a heating system. I know factually what they're saying is complete and utter bullshit. They're completely lying. They don't know anything that they're talking about. And they're trying to sell the house. You don't sell houses. You create alignment. You create alignment and help people understand, qualify in or qualify out based on what they're seeing. So yeah, that's where I honestly believe you can invest more in RE, but real estate agents that are able to speak intelligently to other investors are the ones that become elite and the ones that become millionaires. If you don't, you better be in a really high-end, really luxurious area and only sell, luxury real estate. She said, what? Exactly. LOL. Right on WBJ? Yeah, cool. It does training and focus and actually get the content at those higher speeds. Yes, it's true. HOA Prez, a landlord had a drug addict dying of an overdose, but ran the water, which overflowed the bathtub, destroying the ceiling and caused over $20,000 damage. The best businesses have customers for life, Poor businesses lose all of their customers. It's exactly right. Taylor Stanley, I heard your comments on Zuber's video about your wife's van. You should get a Dodge minivan and stop dude, I wish. Taylor Stanley, I wish. They've got a couple that are in the country that are projects right now that are being manufactured. I am all on board with that. The biggest issue that they have is that they can shove that thing in there, but then you need the braking system and you need the suspension to be able to manage that thing. But I am 100% with you. I would do a Dodge with a Hellcat setup in it, 1,000%. The only reason is because they haven't really gotten one delivered and developed yet. But the opportunity is to be able to do that too with the Chevy setup, because you can do that with a Chevy setup too. And I like Chevy better. I think it's a better product. But Taylor Stanley, you're exactly right, my dude. I love that. You're exactly right. HOA price. The best advice I got in sales was that you have to know the mindset of the customer. Yeah, I think the mindset of the customer is people buy from who they trust. And what I'm trying to do is create alignment. And if I can't create the alignment, then I don't want them as a customer either. If they're just like, yeah, we don't care, we'll buy anything just because, we're slumlords and that's the way, and we don't really fix shit up and we have high turnover rates, I don't want to do business with you. The only thing I want to do is buy your building from you because I want to save your tenants from you. But if I were an agent, those are the people that I'd be saying, it's not really a fit for me. Because every single thing that I'm going to bring them is going to be too expensive unless it's just a complete and total dump. And I'd rather make sure that gets into the hands of somebody that's going to rehab it and make the units nice, not make them too expensive, just make them nice, just make them habitable, not rat problems and things like that. Matthew, time for bed, have work in the morning. Sweet dreams. Robert Finelli, okay, the kitchen doesn't exist yet. Is a bedroom right now. Will that be a problem for Dan? I don't think so. I expect the building inspector wants to see. Yeah, he wants to see where the new kitchen is, the sink is, the stove. Yes, absolutely. So, but you can even sketch that out on a piece of paper, and then Dan's plans can just take the measurements. So that at the software that he uses, I'm pretty sure has shapes of like being able to drop a kitchen. And I know the one that we use now has that. Also, it's a 7-bedroom configuration right now. 3 walls are coming down to make a living room and 2 large bedrooms. Got to keep it 2 bedrooms to increase my odds of zoning board approving it. Yes, absolutely. I agree. HOA price, the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Well, then you aren't in sales. I am in sales. I was in sales and I only told the truth. I didn't waste my time with lies. Honestly, elite sales guys aren't liars. It's a huge misqualification of salespeople. Usually the guys that are pikers, the guys that have to do more with less, the guys that have to hit their numbers or always are missing their numbers, they will buy, lie, cheat, and steal. The real elite guys, we don't do that. We never have. We don't need to. What our qualification is and what our ability is to get on the same page with the buyer and to understand, are we a fit for them? Where elite salespeople win over really good or above average salespeople is that I won't work a deal that I don't know that we're the best fit for. Because I can even tell them, hey guys, I told one customer, I said, hey, there's a better product out there for you. He's like, what is it? And I go, I don't know. It's not us. I said, what you're trying to do, we can do, but we don't do it very often, but we do it and it's expensive. And he's like, I feel like you don't want me to buy your product. And I said, no, I just want you to go in eyes wide open. That's all. So I want to make sure that you know that you might have an expectation this is going to take 4 weeks. It's going to take 8 weeks. You might have an expectation that this should only cost $100,000. It's going to cost $200,000. So I'm more than happy to go down the path with you. I just want to be upfront and honest with you, because if you have those expectations, they're nothing that I'm going to be able to meet. And you know what? That's why my customers love me. And that's why I made millions of dollars selling. But it was because I created alignment. And when there wasn't the ability to create alignment, I walked. I just said, you know what? I think you're better off. Now, what's really funny is that customer, after he had that, he goes, wow, that's good. That wasn't the point. The point was I wanted to be honest with him. And he said, all of these other vendors, they're promising me this, that, and the other. And they promise they can do it for this. And they promise they can do it for that. I said, talk to some of their customers and ask them if they did it that fast. He goes, you really want me to call their customers? I go, yeah, absolutely. Call them and find out. Did they actually do it that fast? Did they live up to what they said they were going to do? And you know what? Calls me back 2 weeks later. He goes, I spoke with a number of them and they said not all of them told him the same thing. And it was generally speaking an okay experience, but none of them were even close to those dates. So guess what? Now he was no longer looking for a solution in 4 weeks. He was willing to take 8. He no longer expected something for 100,000. He expected something for 200,000. Now at that point, it was important that we actually stay in the game and that we execute. The good news is we did. We executed. It ended up being a 3-month project, not a 2-month project, but that was 100% on them. And they took the blame for that. They said, hey, we didn't have data ready for you. I was like, it's totally fine. We were giving you the ideal circumstance based on our ability to deliver. We recognize that you're going to have delays. And just so long as you are the one that's accounting for those delays, we're okay with it. The guy was thrilled. He was a great reference for me for years to come. He was a great reference for me. So elite sales guys are never the liars. It's always the close to their quota, the just below or just above. Those are always the guys that tell half truths. Elite guys don't lie. They don't need to. True story. Chris Culp, looking forward to boot camp. Yes, sir. You weren't here in the beginning, but if you don't want to watch the beginning, basically I said we have been having system technical difficulties. But those difficulties I'm hoping will be wrapped up tomorrow. I'm supposed to talk to marketing again tomorrow, and then we should be able to get that stuff out to you guys. Is there any way to utilize a 203K loan on a fixer-upper that you can get 100% owner financing on? No. Nope. Sorry, just want to make sure. Yeah. No, a 203K, no. Because the 203K assumes that whole program, the 203K or 203K Streamline, both of those assume that Fannie Freddie has the debt underneath it. So no. No, the only thing that you could do in that particular case is like get a HELOC against the asset, but you're tough pressed. I mean, again, the challenge is that why are we trying to do deals with zero money in, right? Like 100% owner financing. And then on top of that, try and borrow the money to do the rehab. You can try it, but you're likely going to be in a pretty rough spot. You know, I mean, you need to have some cash. You need to have some money. HOA Prez, we had an ICE raid at a day labor center. And landlords are losing a lot of tenants overnight. It isn't talked about much. Oh no, for sure. Totally agree. Key, how are you, my friend? Good to see you. Terry Balu. Hey, Terry, how are you? Great live. Glad to get to the live. I'm glad to have you, man. Good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah, good to see the crew. Angelo, good to see you. Oh, Matt, I'm all ears, and so is my team. Fantastic. Good to see you guys. Good to see you. Yeah, it's been a crazy week. HOA Prez, we could be having a large number of vacancies in Silicon Valley in 2026. I said you were. HOA Prez, you keep on proving my point. The thing that is going to crush the Valley is that they are very pro-immigrant, illegal immigrant. And so now a lot of those places are going to go empty and disappear, and no one else will live there because some of those places are completely disgusting. And so, and the immigrants can't complain because they know that they can't complain, because then the landlords will call ICE or do something else like that. And I don't believe that ICE should be punitive. However, I do believe that as we go through this cycle, you're going to see the top end with a bunch of white collar jobs and people losing their jobs. Yes, to AI, to RPA, gone. Bunch of people are going to get their asses canned. And the number of people that are being hired for AI position is far less than the number of people that are doing these other white collar jobs that are making 150, 200, 250,000 bucks a year in the Valley. And those people are going to just be gone. So I think you're going to see it from a landlord perspective. I think San Francisco, largely speaking, I think is going to be doomed. They're going to feel the effects more than they've ever felt the effects before. And this is what happens when you're in Asylum City. Like, this is what happens. I know. I just pissed off people. Sorry. Way it goes. Truth hurts. Thanks. Christopher, thanks for the perspective. It fits into the hood and goes and hits good value points you made. Good. That's exactly right. And so, like I said, if you've got 17 houses on the block and you're the largest of the 17, you're going to have a problem. Number two, you're the nicest of the 17, you're going to have a problem. But if it fits in with the neighborhood and these are the other types of additions that other houses are doing, dude, then yeah, it could be a really big win. Demetrius, good to see you. Good to see you. Terry Bello. Any advice concerning wholesaling deals or assigning contracts? What type of advice are you looking for? Like, I've done it. I've seen deals. I've gotten deals under contract that I didn't like after I did all the work. Hey, Jen, good to see you. Good word on sales, Matt. Thank you, Jen. Jen knows. Jen sells all day long. Her team sells all day long. And what they do is they sell their people and the people that they contact on having a phone call. And it's brilliant. They get all of the data, but all their job is to, Jen works with a team of amazing virtual assistants that she actually runs it's her company. And I've used them a bunch. I've used them a bunch to reach out and, blanket an area and say, let's make a bunch of calls in that area over the next, 2-3 months. And let's see if we can create some deals out of that area. And they do. And they're amazing because they get me all of the data that I need. And the only thing that they're in charge of is getting the data that we need and essentially selling the person on doing a follow-up call. Hey, thanks for sharing all that information with me. Love to have you do another, love to have you have a conversation with one of the investors that we have in the area type of thing. And, and then see how it goes. They're not trying to do the deal right then and there, which is what I appreciate. They're leaving it up to me to carry the ball across the goal line. So yeah, Jen's team is absolutely amazing. I didn't recognize you at first, Jen, with your blonde hair in the picture. HOA price, typically severance package in Silicon Valley is about $100K. And I tell them, look at moving out of Silicon Valley. Yeah, 1,000%. Totally agree with you. Yeah, absolutely. Well, they're going to be looking for jobs elsewhere. And the problem is they're going to look at it and they're going to say, oh, I was making $250 here and these other jobs only pay me $1.25. Yeah, but you're not living in the Valley anymore. So who cares? It's much less expensive, but you're going to have to move. I just think that, I think that they're going to get obliterated. All-nighter. Taylor, get to know what everyone wants so you can tailor deals, in my opinion. Yeah, that's good guidance. I mean, I think it, when you're looking at it from a wholesaling perspective, you never know what you're going to find, right? So the idea is blanketing an area, absolutely loading up in an area. Terry, what I would tell you is I'd be using someone like Jen's service. They crank out way more phone calls than you're ever going to crank out. And you might as well be getting those qualified leads. And I can tell you at the cost of what her service is, you do one deal in a couple of months, you're going to cover your cost. So I would use Jen's people are phenomenal at the heavy lifting. I love the work that they did for me. Dorn, what's going on, brother? Can't stay long, but wanted to create a website for Taylor's handyman business. Do you have a referral for someone to create a website for us? Yeah. I like the guys that I use. They have like kind of a beginner package, which isn't too expensive. You can look at my website and kind of get an idea from that. But yeah, they are a Digital Culture London. They're based out of London. But shoot me an email and I'll respond back and I'll CC them on it and just have a conversation. No obligation to use them, but definitely guys worth talking to because anybody can build a website, certainly with like these Wix builders and things like that. Anybody can build these websites. The key is you want to make sure they're built in an architecturally sound way. So then you can run Facebook ads. So then you can run ads against the website. So then you can actually point them to the website. There's a bunch of different underlying things that need to be created. And that's what those guys are really good at. I've been very happy with them. Matt, let's see. So try those guys. Send me an email. I'll respond back. I'll CC him on it. Matt, I combined your rent box information with Dion area market study, and I was able to rent the unit in 2 weeks. The comps are still in my market for 90 days. I advertised for $45 less. It's a beautiful thing, and you can do that. And I love that people are using combinations of solutions. I love that. I love being stirred in a drink with Dion. But what I would tell you is that very often, how you market that and the rent box is powerful, but as you're marketing that asset as well, I very often am a top market renter guy. Like my stuff is usually towards the top. It's not towards the middle or the bottom or discounted off the top. You can do that. You can do that. But we have a way of qualifying more people, writing, getting more people to view our ad, to see our asset. And then once we make it experiential, the extra $50 isn't going to make a difference. On paper, it does, but when you make it experiential, it doesn't. And that's the key, is making it experiential. Wealth Building Journey. The She Said What comment was about the arrogant female's tenant who was complaining about their other tenants. She sounded quite haughty. She was quite haughty. I agree with that. She was kind of obnoxious. We have another one too, one that sent something today, and she was being quippy, and she was being obnoxious in her replies. So I literally just stopped replying to her. I'm not going to help you. That's not an emergency. I'm not going to help you. Maybe you'll think about what you've done and recognize that I'm not going to be spoken to like that. Now, she probably thought she was talking with a maintenance person because it was the maintenance line. I don't care. I wouldn't want her speaking to any of my people that way either. I think she was being a bitch. Way it goes. And not even acting like a bitch. I think she was actually being a bitch and being rude and being condescending. Hey, you want to take a quick scoreboard here? You rent from me. You rent from me. All of your choices in life have found you in your early 50s renting from me. Maybe you should keep your opinions to yourself and just be gracious. Just be gracious in how you ask. We had somebody else that actually sent a request in at 1:30, and at 4:30 it wasn't done yet. Is this going to be taken care of? Really? 3 hours. We have a 3-hour fix-it time. Wow, I wish I lived in that world. What's really funny is it was a breaker that tripped. It tripped once before in the 6 months that they've lived there. And he's like, this house clearly has electrical issues. You clearly have electrical issues. The issue is that you guys insist on using the microwave, using the refrigerator, using multiple outlets in the kitchen, and then plugging a massive vacuum into it. The problem isn't the electrical. The problem is your lack of understanding of how electrical works and what the load is that can be on a given number of circuits. Yeah, it's brutal. It's an older home. Everything isn't separated. Everything's on its own separate circuit. Anyway, you can find deals from people that are tired of being a landlord. Yes, absolutely you can. But then how do you find those people? And that's the key. California Section 810 landlords are being told to verify the residents of their properties. That's very amazing. They're not doing that in my state. HOA Prez. California has a law that prohibits landlords from running immigration checks. I know of one landlord that called the DA out and is waiting to be arrested. He has already lined up the national news networks. Ooh, that sounds interesting. Mad Nature. Hey, yo, Lumberjack from Framingham. Hey, Framingham. Love Framingham. What do you do with wallpaper over horsehair plaster? Remove it. Removal is easy in some, not in others. Big cracks. That's an amazing question. Here's what I can tell you. You will spend a month of Sundays trying to make that work, and it's not going to work well. It just isn't. Your best bet, in all honesty, is if it's not coming off in some major areas, that's because the glue has actually, and the paper's become part of the horsehair plaster. Basically the glue impregnates the plaster. It's not worth it. It's not worth trying to strip. You're not going to get it any better. So the only option that you then have, I've seen it, and then you have to bring in a plaster guy, and then a plaster guy charges you a fortune. Your best bet is actually getting 1/4-inch sheetrock. No joke, 1/4-inch sheetrock, and having it put over the horsehair plaster, and then mudding and taping that, because that's a much faster mud and tape job, and anyone can do that job versus somebody actually doing nice plaster work and feathering everything in and making it look right. Yeah. Terry Ballot, assigning do's and don'ts. I have an attorney with lots of off-market deals. I'm trying to connect investors, full-time appraiser, part-time assignee. I get it. Yeah. So Terry, The big do's or don'ts is I would be talking with that attorney and making sure that you have a contract that is ironclad for you to be able to get out of it. Because literally anybody that gets those things on assignment, they're basically signing the deal. And a lot of times it's 30 days, sometimes it's 45 days, but a lot of times it's 30 days. Then they keep on trying to assign it, and then they have to have that out clause. So the most important thing for the wholesaler and making sure that, the major do's and don'ts, make sure that you have a legitimate out every single time, but make sure that you're being honest with the person saying, hey, love this property. I know that I can sell this, but I'm going to put it under contract with you. I would be, just in the interest of full disclosure, I think that there's a lot of wholesalers out there. I know there's a number of wholesalers out there that play fast and loose and lie. In fact, there's one that actually, local franchisee that owns the one that looks like a caveman, and he actually is an absolute full-time liar. He's a piece of garbage. If I ever see him in public, he's going to absolutely get a tongue lashing because he's a liar. He literally went in and said, yeah, but we have all the finances of this company behind us where we can do this deal. Bro, I can write a check. I can show up with stacks of cash, you little prick. He was a liar, and this woman took his word for it. She got sold a bill of goods, and then he spent the next. Yeah, it did not go well. It took him months to close. I watched that project, and quite frankly, the building didn't end up looking very nice after he was finished with it. He was a piece of garbage, and so I hope he's out of business. And I know in a downturn he will be out of business. I don't wish physical harm upon him, but I certainly wish that his business practices would be found out so people would stop doing business with him. Because he flat out, in that deal, he flat out lied. Because I said to them, yeah, I'm happy to bring, proof of funds, whatever you need, blah, blah, blah. And he literally sat there and he convinced her that I couldn't do it. And he's like, yeah, but I got a branded truck and I've got all this money behind me. Like, they help us out with this deal. So I'm guaranteed to close. Bitch, I'm guaranteed to close. Hell, Allstate took their saying from me. They were in good hands with the lumberjack. It's ridiculous. Yeah, that guy. Oof. Jen, if you're in the chat, let me know. Yep, she's in the chat. That's her right there, Jennifer Stewart. Jen, feel free to, I think you can post your email in there, and then you guys just contact Jen directly. Yeah. Yeah, Terry, she will blow your doors off with finding deals, but then also finding out who the big investors in the area are, and then getting you their contact info, and then setting you up with those people. Her team can absolutely be the glue that ties it all together. Laura, make sure to email me for the book you won. I know, right? Yes, Facebook that they will have less than 300 AI superstars being paid astronomical sums of money, and have told their software engineers that 50% will be laid off. That's true. So this is what I was telling you guys. Now, the largest software companies in the world are now no longer hiring software guys. Hey, wake up, people. Wake up. Wake up. Oracle, Salesforce, Google, Facebook. A lot of those developers are going bye-bye. A lot of them are going to go bye-bye. Taylor, when dealing with website builders, yes, finding someone who is niche to your specific industry makes all the difference. Yes, because they know exactly what it takes to make you successful for SEO and PPC. So largely speaking, yes, that's absolutely correct. I think the other item too is, people having something that is a B2B versus a B2C. So business to business or business to consumer. That business is largely going to be to B2C. I can tell you that these guys have built me 3 websites that are all B2C. But staying on top of all of the Facebook rules. So I will tell you that portion of it is just as important as a level of vertical expertise. The challenge is you're not going to find a big, long list of guys that build websites for handymen. You're not. So it's trying to find like businesses. So like real estate, those guys have built my stuff for that. But again, the key is that real understanding of SEO, pay-per-click. Pay-per-click is really a tough thing to do, unless you're spending big money. Take it from somebody that knows, take it from somebody that ran a marketing department for 10 years. When we would spend $5,000, it was kind of a fart. It didn't really matter. You might get a lead. You might get a good lead. You might not. Jesse Mao, how are you? Hello, Matt. Would you do co-living? I did co-living. I co-live with my wife and my kids right now. That's right, Matt. Disrespect will not be tolerated. Yeah, absolutely not. If you're gonna be like, as kindly as I can say it, and sorry for the ladies in the audience, as kindly as I can say it, if you want to try and out dick me, game on. Like, don't be a dick. Like, it's a really simple rule. I'm very nice. I'm very fair. I'm very easy to deal with. And she was getting bent about the fact that she heard a squirrel on the roof or maybe in the gutter. Okay. And she's like, I just don't want them breaking into the house. Well, they've never broken in the house so far. And last time I checked, squirrels weren't good with locks. I think you're okay. Let's see. HOA business. Business was dealing with 20 thieves trying to steal everything with the employees pulling out Mossberg shotguns. No one was hurt, but it didn't make the news. Interesting. Yeah, I think that there's going to be a lot more of that. Saeed, how are you? Good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you. Hi, Lumberjack. Hi, Syed. Saeed. Let me know which one it is. I'm sorry. I'm working on that stuff. I'm not very good at other languages. I try, but I'm just not good at it. Oh yeah, I make sure everyone is on the same page, the numbers and the whole nine. Thanks, LL, for the advice. Yeah, absolutely. Terry, honestly, you're going to act like you have a team of people and it's very inexpensive for the value that they bring. Jens, I mean, we have a number of the deals in our funnel that we're working on. We wanted kind of longer term touch stuff. That was the guidance that we gave, and that's kind of what we've gotten. We have a number of deals over the next 12 to 24 months that are going to close from that. And like I said, it was honestly, it was a few $1,000s. It was not crazy. You know, it was, I don't know, maybe 10 or so, but well worth it. It'll pay off in spades. Mad Nature closing on a new home for fam. Love that. Inspection waived. Okay. Strong mildew. Okay. Mold detected in the HVAC room. Okay. Active leak adjacent to air handle. Okay. Owner to stop leak. Okay. Mold dog of mass coming to inspect. How to remediate. Okay. Ozone machines work wonders. Ozone machines work wonders. They do an amazing job. Yep. The first thing is you got to figure out where the water's coming from, stop the intrusion of the water, stop the leak, whatever it is. And then you remediate and fix anything that has to be done and taken care of. But ozone machines are worth their weight in gold. They're absolutely fantastic. Saeed, I'm a new investor based in the Bay Area. How should I pick a state city? I understand I am looking at population growth, job growth, crime, etc. But what tools would you recommend I use to filter? That's a great question. There's a lot. I mean, I think one of the challenges is in the Bay Area is going to be really hard. It's really hard. You need a lot of capital. I wouldn't invest particularly in the Bay Area. But that's just me. People do it and people are successful, but they're people usually with pretty big pockets. And the last thing you want to do is set yourself up to be, small fish, big pond. But what I would do is you watch this live stream, you watch Dion's live stream. Millennial Mike is somebody that we do a lot with. I know Zoob, but he's already in California. He's in Fresno. There's going to be successful investors everywhere, but I would be watching a lot of live streams, understanding where other people invest, and understanding if you want to be a remote landlord, if you're okay with that, or if you want to be a hands-on landlord. Those are a lot of the questions that we kind of start with first. One of the things that we talk about in my course and in the boot camps is we have new investors that have never bought anything there before. And we actually can try and help them with some areas and say, hey, what is it that you're trying to invest in? What are your investment goals? Saeed, definitely watch the beginning of this video, run it through, because that'll give you a lot of the answers that you asked for. I've got a lot of information that I covered in this video at the beginning But welcome to the community. Love to have you. I hope we see you again next week. But there's a lot there that I know can help you for sure. And it's totally free in this video. And if you want to accelerate things, that's what the course is for. That's what people take my courses to excel things. HOA Pres Newsom is running for president on the platform. Let me do for America what I did for California. That's not going to go so well for him. Other investors in a market can be a huge asset to your journey. Absolutely. So Saeed, what All-Nighter Hider is talking about there is that you are able to listen to other investors, listen to their stories about the area that they're in, but having other investors that they become allies, because then you can help grow each other together. That way, if you find a deal that you like and you say, hey, I really like this deal. Ooh, but I can't do it now. You pass that deal on. I don't even wholesale those deals off. I literally just give them away. I'm like, yeah, I love this deal. It's a nice deal. I just don't want to do it right now. I've got 7 other things that I'm doing right now. I don't want to, it's not worth taking on the deal and letting it sit for a year. So legit, I'll just call up another investor. Hey, I got this deal. Not a fit for me. Want to do it? Newsom is begging for some tar and feathers. He's a clown. Saeed, you got it right. Saeed? Yes. Big fan of your stuff, brother. Here and on the Zuber show. Thank you. Thank you, Saeed. Awesome. I'm glad. I'm trying. I never mean any disrespect. I'm always trying to learn. The one thing that, so I'm a 9th grade dropout, but the one thing I was really, really bad at in school was language. I cannot do languages. Cannot do languages. And that's why God thought it was funny that I was in IT. He thought that that was funny because I had French developers. Oh, dear God. I was like, what? And I could never make fun of them. They know English better than I'll ever know French. I could never make fun, but it was like painstaking to like listen and try and understand what they were saying. I was so bad at it. Yeah, so bad. I wouldn't recommend the San Francisco Bay to a new investor right now. Yeah, HOA Pres, you're exactly right. It's too big of money, and I think you're catching a falling knife. There's too many dynamics there. Laura Samaniego, Dion, I'm writing the email right now. Thanks so much. I have your book, Super Books, and potentially waiting for Matt's, or patiently waiting. So yes, you will see a book from me, and you guys will be shocked at what it is. It's amazing. It is. It's amazing. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Saeed, I appreciate it, Matt. Thank you. You're very welcome. Guys, it is 10:27. Awesome work, everybody, tonight. Fantastic work. Let's see what to expect over the next week. So we should get the technical issue fixed up with the vendor that we use. I won't say who they are because they have been a good vendor. They're just, something happened with this last update and it's just kind of kicked us in the teeth a little bit. But you should hear something on the boot camp stuff, and then you guys will get to vote on what the best time is to have it. We give you 3 options, and then based on majority rules, that's the only way to do it, guys. Majority rules, that's what we then pick for what we end up doing or what date we end up doing it. I'm trying to come up with a name. Taylor Stanley, thank you so much. I appreciate that, Taylor. We're trying to come up with a name for the YouTube series that I'm coming up and doing. I wanted to thank you guys. I wanted to thank you for letting me be a part of your journey, letting me participate in your successes. It's really a lot of fun. And I really enjoy it. I really look forward to hearing you guys get deals. I really always look forward to something I said or some bad experience I had or good experience I have making an impact in a positive way for your journey. So I really enjoy that. But the upcoming series, it's a great question. The upcoming series that I'm actually going to put out is as a thank you to you guys. It was reaching out to other people that are elite at what they do. And I didn't go to the big channels. I went to the channels that were my size, kind of 10, 15, 20, kind of Dion's to my size. I think he's like 30,000. I'm 10, 11, 12,000. So I wanted to find people kind of in that gap. But what I wanted to do was I wanted to find people that were elite at what they did and had the track record. Not just said it, I've been doing it for 3 years. No. I would never put those people in front of you. And it's not to say that people that have been doing for 3 years have nothing to teach you. They just haven't learned a lot of life lessons yet. And so they have less to teach you. They have just less to teach you. I want you hearing the good, the bad, and the ugly. I want you hearing all the horrible stuff because I want you to know that you're not alone. When it happens to you, you're not alone. It's happened to all of us. We've all had bad issues. I'm doing a couple evictions next week. I look forward to them. I look forward to them. I love that. I'm looking forward to doing them. These people have earned the opportunity to go to court with me. So this series, I'm trying to figure out what the right name of it is. I am. But it's basically just a bunch of people that, so let me see who we have in there. We have a real estate agent for 40 years in there to give you perspective and market timing. Have somebody in there that has a hybrid strategy of short-term rentals and how they do short-term rentals. Ask the experts. I like that. That's pretty cool. Yep. Yep. But, and so we've got a real estate coach who had been an agent for almost 20 years, now is full-time coaching because she was just like, I loved it. I made a ton of money doing it, but I really love coaching and helping out other agents. I think she got kind of, and I get that. Like after you're really successful at something for 20 years, you're just kind of like, I mean, I get Tom Brady's thing too. He didn't want to come back and be a quarterback again. He loves his new life, and you don't get hit by a lineman. It's so you feel better that next morning. But there's that piece. So who else is on there? So short-term rental, there's people that one investor that invested in a bunch of syndications. She's watching a number of those syndications go to zero. She can now help you guys understand, hey, here's the things to watch out for from a syndication perspective. I didn't see them. She said, I didn't see them, and I'm getting got right now. Oh shit, I'm a decent landlord now. What? That's good. That's good. Yeah. And so obviously, kind of what I cover is, how to manage the asset and absolutely get the very most that you can out of the assets that you acquire, and making sure that you're leveraging all the things that you can leverage to make sure you get your greatest return. But all of these other people that I'm adding, one guy is a big commercial real estate guy. So he just says, hey, this is what we do. This is what we're talking about. And that's, that's, I think, one of the things I'm going to add. Mad Nature, watching your old content. Yeah. You hold property in a trust. Trust one. Yep. Not LLCs. LLCs give you zero legal protection. None. And if it's just you in the LLC or you and a spouse in the LLC, they're going to pierce the veil faster than you can say pierce the veil. So that's a cottage industry. Deanna and I talk about it all the time because he doesn't have anything in LLCs. I only have one LLC, but the reason that I have it is because I needed to form an LLC in order to get healthcare for my daughter. It's a weird, screwy thing, that healthcare system. Obamacare didn't really cut it for us. And when my daughter gets sick with, or was sick with cancer, that wouldn't have helped us or protected us, or it would have financially devastated us if that was the only option. Yeah. So we're only in a trust. And then we basically have our structure set up where everything is insured individually. And then we have an umbrella over all the individual policies, but we're also overinsured. That's the other key too. Most LLCs, people are just like, oh yeah, sign me up for whatever I'm up for. And so, yeah, we have I won't say it's a bulletproof strategy, but it's a strong strategy that we feel pretty comfortable with. In all honesty, yeah, we feel pretty comfortable with it. So there's that. But yeah, that's all. There's a lot there. But yeah, ask the experts. Yeah, I mean, something like that, but we'll come up with something. But you guys are going to see some amazing videos. I have an LLC in my trust. It's a commercial property. I had to have it for my loan. Yep, sure. There's some that require that. I have the bank that I do business with. A number of the banks I do with are not an issue. Singer Memo LLC, in which spouses are legally one, do not come with charging order charging order protection. Multiple member, not spouses, do come with charging order protection. Yes. So the idea is that what that basically means is you want to have a partner that's essentially not your spouse. So if it's you and your brother, you're actually protected because there's going to be an operating account, and then you have your money and he has his money. But when you are a soul member, or you are married and it's you and your wife in it, there's no protections there. They can pierce the veil and then they can go right after your assets. And in my course, we actually I had an attorney there, and she actually explained how she almost lost her house in a lawsuit from her company that was in an LLC. True story. And you know what's really funny? She's the third lawyer I heard about that. The third. I've had 3 attorneys that I work with, or that I've worked with in the past, get sued, get the veil pierced, and them go after their assets. And they had to literally protect themselves from losing that lawsuit because they would have lost their houses. No joke. So guys, always a pleasure being a part of the journey. You'll see some new content. I'm thinking probably after Bigger Pockets. But there's going to be a lot there. There's a lot there. We're doing, it's a series of 12. So we've reached out to a bunch of different people, gotten a bunch of different inputs, and people that don't do what I do, and they do something niche that's very specific that hopefully will get you better. Thank you, Matt. Don't get much chance to catch up with all the different members. They'll miss all original, all-timer mentors. Thanks. I appreciate that. Lucky to spot this one. Miss y'all. Genuine mentors. Pallavi, always a pleasure. Guys, I really appreciate it. Like I said, honored to be part of your journey. Excited for what's in the future for all of y'all. And I'm excited to be a part of it. And so more stuff coming. You'll see for the boot campers. Apologize. I wish I could have fixed it myself. But I'm just not that technically adept at getting through that. So I have to rely on others, but we'll get that out this week and we'll get things going. But guys, have an absolutely fantastic rest of your week, and we will see you guys in the next one. All the best, guys. Talk soon.